If you can hear me clearly, place the message in the chat.
Fourth one is
Thank you. Right. Okay. Good morning, children. Then I think you're doing well. Then all of you take out your seats and get prepared. Then you are joining with the third day of our third term syllabus, right? Then first of all, we are going to talk about the civic part, right, children? Then all of you take out your books and get ready. Then still we are talking about the multicultural society, right? Then after talking about the multicultural society, actually, last day we talked about the unique features of them, the specific features of them, and the common features of multicultural society, right? Then after that, we are moving towards cultural heritage. Just all of you come to page number 86 and get ready, Butala. The next part, you need it should be the last lesson, Butala. This is our last lesson. Also, cultural heritages. Come to page number 86, right? The rest part of this one. The rest part of this one. Page number 86. Cultural heritages. Sanskritika Urmaya. Right. Then let's find out what are known as cultural heritages. Okay. Then children, previously in the lesson, we talk about the elements of cultures, children, right? And we find out the common elements of cultures and the specific elements of the cultures, right? We identify them separately. Then with the knowledge, we can move to the next part of the lesson. Cultural heritages. Every culture has cultural elements, which are identified as cultural heritages. That means, children, you know that arts and crafts, traditions, dressings, right? Rituals, customs, all of these are known as elements of culture, right? Then, when we talk about these elements of culture, right? Every culture has cultural elements, which are identified as cultural heritage. Then, when we talk about elements of a particular culture, we can identify them as cultural heritage, right? අපි යම් සංස්කෘතියක මේ සංස්කෘතිය අංගයන් අඳුන ගන්නකොට අපි ඒවට කියන මොනවා කියලාද? එයාලගේ සංස්කෘතිය උරුමයන් කියලා කියනවා. Right? The next one. Customs and rituals, right? Then and arts and crafts, මූලික වගේ දේවල් can be given as examples for cultural heritages, right? Then think about the Buddhist cultural heritage. Then when we go to Andhra area, we can find out a lot of things there. When we go to Polonnaru area, we can find out some cultural elements of Hindu culture, right? Likewise, then it is a responsibility as well as a duty of all to preserve those cultural heritages and pass them to future generation. Children, we have to preserve them. Preserving means right? And we have to hand them out to the next generations also. Clear? Then next part. Protecting the cultural heritages is important for ensuring continuous existence of a culture. That means children, then සංස්කෘතික පුතා අකණ්ඩ පැවැත්මට what you have to do හොයගන්න ඕනේ. Protecting the cultural heritages is important. ඒ සංස්කෘතියේ උරුමයන් රැක ගැනීම වැදගත් කියලා කියනවා. It helps developing pride about ancient heritages පුතේ. ඒකට අතීතයේ තිබෙන උරුමයන් ගැන අභිමානයකුත් ඇති වෙනවා. And protecting uniqueness and identity of a culture. Children, if you safeguard the cultural heritages පුතාලා මේ උරුමයන් ටික අපි ආරක්ෂා කරගත්තොත් එහෙම you can protect the uniqueness of your culture. ඔයාගේ සංස්කෘතියේ අනන්‍යතාවය රැක ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. And also the identity of a culture. ඔයාගේ සංස්කෘතියේ අනන්‍යතාවය රැක ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. Right? Especially religious and ethnic groups have their own identity. Think about the Sinhalese, Muslims, Tamils, Burghers, Burghers and Malays. All of these have their own cultural identity. And also think about the religious wise. When we talk about the Buddhists, Hindus, Islamic people, and the Catholics and Christians, right? They also have their own identity, right? Then children, it can be protected only if the cultural heritages are preserved. Okay, ඒ කියන අභිමානය, right? ඒ අනන්‍යතාවය රැක ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. The identity of that dignity can be preserved through safeguarding the cultural heritages, right? And handed over to the future generation. සහනාවක පරම්පරාවල් පිට දායාද කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා කියනවා. Last paragraph. People will be trained to respect other cultures, their customs, practices, arts and craft, not only if they protect their own cultural heritage. Children, not only your, think about your culture. Think about your culture. I don't know whether what's the culture that you belong. Then classes think about your culture. Culture again, right? First of all, you have to protect your own cultural elements or the heritage. Thereafter, you have to respect the other religions and the ethnic groups also. You have to respect the other cultures also. Don't ridicule them and don't insult them, right? Then children, as a good citizen of a multicultural society, respecting and protecting other cultures, their heritages are of paramount importance for the coexistence in society. If you want to if you want to develop the coexistence in society or the unity in society, coexistence means right? If you want to develop it, children, first of all, you have to protect your own cultural elements and heritage, and also you have to respect the other cultural heritages too. Thereby you can minimize the conflicts and other things, the arguments and other things that exist that may appear in society. Thereby you can help for the coexistence of society, and also you can help for the establishment of unity in society, children, right? You respect the other cultures too. And you have to respect those cultural elements too. Those cultural heritages too. Right? Not only your ones. The other ones also. The next part is steps to safeguard cultural heritages. Children, what you can do towards safeguarding cultural heritages. Then සංස්කෘතික උරුමයන් ආරක්ෂා කර ගන්න ඔයාට මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන්? What you can do? There's a paragraph එකක් තියෙනවා නේද? Each culture has its own cultural heritages, right? ඔන්න දැක්කේ සංස්කෘතියක් ගත්තාම, right? Each culture has its own cultural heritages. Then ඒ සංස්කෘතිය අදාළ මෙන්න මේ තමන්ගේම cultural heritage ටිකක් දෙනවා ඒක cultural අදාළ, right? Each culture has its own cultural heritage. Then think about the Buddhist culture, think about the Hindu culture, Islamic culture, think about the Catholic Christian culture. They have their own cultural heritages. තම තමන්ට පොදු වෙච්ච තම තමන්ටම ආවේනික වෙච්ච උරුමයන් තියෙනවානේ. It is the duty and the responsibility of all of us to safeguard those cultural heritages, right? It's your actually it's a duty of you. It's a responsibility of you, right? To protect each and every cultural heritages. Then this will definitely be helpful to preserve the culture for the future generations. ඉතින් අනිවාර්යෙන් මේක දායක වෙයි කියනවා අනාගත පරම්පරාවලට මේ උරුමයන් ආරක්ෂා කරලා දෙන්න, right? Next one. It will also create pride about one's cultural identity. Children, if you safeguard your cultural heritage today, you can be proud of your culture. ඔයාගේ සංස්කෘතියේ තියෙන දේවල් ආරක්ෂා කරන්න එපා අතුරු වෙන්නේ නේද? Thereby you can be proud of your culture, right? Then children, next part. As examples, shrines. පුතේ ඔය බෙහෙරේ විහාර වගේ දේවල් නේද? Shrines. ඔය දේවාලය ඒවත් කරන shrines වල තමයි ගන්නවා. Then Daguba, right? Dagat. And the irrigation system. මේ වාරි පද්ධතිය. In the Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa areas express the grandeur of Sri Lankan culture. මේ ශ්‍රී ලාංකික ඉතිහාසයේ අපි ශ්‍රී ලාංකික සංස්කෘතියේ ප්‍රෞಢත්වය ඉදපත් කරනවා. මෙන්න මේ දේවල්. Overall, shrines, dagobas, irrigation systems, arts and crafts, other creations, all of they express the grandeur of Sri Lankan, ancient Sri Lankan culture, right? The next part. As a citizen, following steps can be taken to safeguard the cultural heritages. Children, as a citizen, following steps can be taken to safeguard the cultural heritage. As a citizen, you can do these things for what more? To safeguard cultural heritages. Sounds good, man. You have given three main things here. Number one, creating awareness among people about the importance of safeguarding cultural heritage today. First of all, we have to do this one. We have to improve the awareness of the people about the value of protecting or safeguarding cultural heritages, right? About protecting the cultural heritages. Right? Then children, think about the Anuradhapura area. We can find out so many ancient temples and shrines were damaged by the thieves. Treasure hunters, right? Actually, they harmed those ancient places and they took the valuable things available in those areas, right? So it's our cultural identity. It's our cultural heritage. So we have to protect them, right? Then children, creating awareness among people about the importance of safeguarding cultural heritages, right? Now, think about that. Think about that. When you go to some ancient places, some children, some people have damaged them. Like this also, they have they write different things on the surface of those places, right? Especially on the creations. So actually, they harm in different ways, right? Then number two, refraining from engaging in harmful activities against culture and preventing those who harm it, right? Refraining from engaging in harmful activities against culture. සංස්කෘතියට එරෙහිව කරන ක්‍රියාකාරකම් නවත්තන්න කියලා කියනවා. And preventing those who harm it. සහ ඒවට හානි කරන මිනිස්සු වළක්වන්න කියලා කියනවා. In the current situation, there's a doubt about the පෙරහැර. දැන් මේ දවස්වල කතා කරන පෙරහැර ගැන. It's our own culture. ඒකට සංස්කෘතිය සංස්කෘතියක් මේක. And actually that exists for hundreds of years. මේක අවුරුදු 100 ගණන් කතන්දරයක්. Right? That's our culture today. Then when we talk about then most of the NGOs and other people talk about the harmful things or the harms occurred towards the animals, right? But they don't only focus about in Sri Lanka, only focus about the elephants. Then how about they don't make any noise about the innocent cows and the pigs and the hens and other animals who sacrifice their life for the dishes, right? දැන් කෑම වේලක් කරමින් මැරෙන අනිසතුන් නම් එයාලා ගානක් නැහැ. Because they also eat them, right? මොකද ඒගොල්ලෝ ඒවා කනවනේ. එනිසා එයාලා ගානක් නැහැ ඒක. But they focus on elephant. දැන් ලංකාව ගත්තොත් අලිය මතක් වෙනවා කට්ටියට. Clear? Truly unfair. ඇත්තටම this is our culture ඈ. මේ අපේ සංස්කෘතිය, right? Then refraining from engaging in harmful activities among against culture and preventing those who harm it, you know? Uday, don't do harmful activities against culture. සංස්කෘතිය එරෙහිව දේවල් කරන්න එපා කියලා කියනවා, right? And preventing those who harm it. ඒවා කරන මොනසුන් වලක්වන්න කියලා කියනවා, right? Number 3. Whenever who destroys the cultural heritages, මේවා උරුමය විනාශ කරන මොනසු ඉන්නවනම් the relevant institutions should be informed. අදාළ ආයතන බලධාරීන් දැනුවත් කරන්න වෙනවා. For example, institutions such as the police, විශේෂයෙන් පොලිසිය දැනුවත් කරන්න පුළුවන්. A Department of Cultural Affairs, සංස්කෘතික කටයුතු දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව, right? Department of Archaeology, පුරාවිද්‍යා දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව, right? You can inform these institutions regarding the harms done to the cultural heritages, right? Children, overall, we have given 3 steps that can be mainly taken by the people to safeguard cultural heritages, right? So you have to write them, children, and you have to practice it. Okay, right. All of you got writing books and get ready. Right, children. Let's start this question. Write down some steps that can be taken. Write down some steps that can be taken to write down some steps that can be taken to safeguard cultural heritages. Write down some steps that can be taken to safeguard cultural heritages. Right. Right. With this, if it is over, you can go to the answers. Children, you have given 3 answers here. Please write them all. Right? Because that's important, right? Definitely, there will be a question regarding this part. At least you have write 2 steps in the exam, right? So just practice them. I'll give you some sufficient time. Please find them. If it is so, please put a message, Kala. Please put a message into chat. Then we can put the next part. Okay, this also put a message if you saw her. Okay, I'll give you another 1 minute for you. I think time is enough for this one. Okay, next one, children. Right. Children, you have given some figures here, okay? In most of the years, you have given these types of figures to you in your exams, right? And what you have to do is you have to identify the figures and you have to name them, right? Please get familiar with these figures. Let's look at what are the figures that you have given here. Can you remember that previously also we talked about such figures, right? Right? In here also you can find out some figures. So then, this is a figure of Polnaru Galvihare, Galvihare statue, a Buddhist statue that we can see in Galvihare Polnaru, right? Get familiar with these, right? Okay. Most of the times they gave these types of figures to identify and write their names in the exam, right? This is moonstone, moonstone, right? Lotus pond, lotus pond. In Annapura, we can find out that one, right? Then Parakrama Samudra, right? Parakrama Samudra. There's Samadhi statue, right? Samadhi Vigraha. Identify this one, right? Sigiriya. This is Khatanagabad Temple, right? Identify the figure. The Lianpa Nallu, Ramalian, right? Then this is Khatanagabad Temple. And this is Madhu Church. में Madhu Pali है. Madhu Church at Mena. And this figure also has been given with me. मैंने देखा कि बड़ा काउंट बोला बता दें. दावट है कहाँ मस्जिद. दावट है कहाँ मस्जिद. Jaffna Nallur Kovil. Right? Jaffna Nallur Kovil. So you have to get familiar with this figure. यहाँ में वो particular अंदर वो रूप में है. Clear? Definitely you can get write their names in exam. You know, मिस्री में नहीं होते हैं. एकदम पढ़ा करेगा. So much easy. Amar Brand, Galvihari statue, Moonstone, Lotus Pond, Parakrama Samudra, Samadhi statue, Sigiriya, Patragama temple, Madhu church, Davatagama masjid, Jatna Allur Gove. And sometimes they give some similar ones, some figures of the places that are somewhat famous, right? Mirake Prasidha Tangala Rupatika Kuddina, right? Other than these figures, there may be some any other kind of figures also. So you had ready for them, right? Okay, next paragraph. It is the responsibility of every citizen to protect cultural elements of each country. Children, previously also we discussed about that one. Children, each and every citizen should protect the cultural elements of each and every culture. Viviಧ ಸಾಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಕ ಅಂಗಗಳನ್ನು ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು. By doing that, we can easily pass down the existing culture to the future generation, right? Children, we have to think about our future generation also. අපි අනාගත පරම්පරාවනේ හිතන්නේ. Our ancestors think about them, right? That's why they have safeguarded them, right? ඒකනේ ඒගොල්ලෝ ආරක්ෂා කරේ මේව. Then it will also create pride and esteem in them. Children, think about the tourists. දැන් අපි සංචාරක ගන්නකො. They love to see these cultural elements පුදාලා. ඒගොල්ලෝ හරි ආසයි. මේ ලංකාවට ඇවිල්ලා they love to enjoy the culture in Sri Lanka, right? They don't want to enjoy similar type of culture in Sri Lanka too, right? එයාලගේ වගේම culture එකක් අය මෙහෙත් බලා ගන්න යාළුවෝ මොනවද නැහැ. They love the diversity. එයාලා ආසයි විවිධත්වය කියන දෙයට. They love to enjoy another kind of culture. අමුතුම විදිහේ සංස්කෘතියක් අත්දකින්න ඒගොල්ලෝ ආසයි. That's why they love Sri Lanka and they come to Sri Lanka, right? Now Sri Lanka is one of the main tourist hubs in the world, right? Okay, ප්‍රමුඛතම සංචාරක කේන්ද්‍ර ස්ථාන තමයි ලංකාව. Clear? Then by doing next one, it will create pride and esteem in them, right? Children, if you safeguard your cultural heritage pudana, somehow you will feel esteem, right? You will feel pride about your culture. Then what they මේ අභිමානයක් සතුටක් දැනෙයිපොතේ වාගේ ඒ කරපු දේ ගැන නේද? Right? For example, temples, stupas, tanks, irrigation and other cultural elements expose the pride of Sri Lankan culture to the world, right? For example, temples මේ පුතේ විහාර ටික, stupas, tanks මේ වැව්වමුණු, irrigation මේ වාරි කර්මාන්තය and other cultural elements expose the pride of Sri Lankan culture to the world. Children, think about the Sri Lanka. Think about the tourist attractions in Sri Lanka. Tourist attractions, or else we can say tourist attractive places in Sri Lanka. The ලංකාවේ සංචාරක ආකර්ෂණ විලාක ස්ථාන ගත්තාම most of them are ancient, most of them are some historical places today. බහුතරයක් තියෙන්නේ මොනවද? බහුතරයක් තිබුණාද මේ ऐतिहासिक ස්ථාන. And the other part is especially the natural vegetation and the beaches where one has to worry about the you know right? They are the most tourist attractions in Sri Lanka, right? Historical places, right? Attractive beaches and the vegetation cover, right? They are the most tourist attractions in Sri Lanka. ලංකාවේ සංචාරක ආකර්ෂණය වැඩිමනක් දිනගත් තැන්නේ then and they expose the Sri Lankan identity to the world today. අනික මේක ලංකාවේ අනන්‍යතාවය කියන දේ ලෝකෙට විදහා පානවා. Clear? Okay. Then and I saw that there's a place in Sri Lanka. I don't know whether what is that area is. I think it is around Damulle, right? Then Damulle පැත්තට මම හිතන්නේ ඉතින් එතන එළියට the hotel arranged some journeys around the village to go by tractors, then landmarks එක නැගලා ඔන්න ගමුවට රවුමක් යන හදලා දීලා තියෙනවා. And they can enjoy the traditional meals in there, right? And they can do traditional works in there, right? Even in cooking also. අර වෙන පිටින් එකකින් ඒවා කරන්න සුද්දන්ට අවස්ථාව දීලා තියෙනවා. They love that. ඒක හරි ආසයි ඒකට. Clear? They love to enjoy a different culture. So we have to preserve our culture. Clear? Then children, we all have a legal as a moral as well as a moral bond to safeguard cultural heritage. පොතේ අපිට මේ නෛතික වගේ මෙන්න මේ වෙනවා අපිට සදාචාරාත්මක අයිතියක් තියෙනවා. මෙන්න මේ දේවල් ආරක්ෂා කරන්න. This desire should evolve in our mind naturally. ස්වභාවිකම වගේ මනසට මේවා එන්න ඕන, right? And without deliberate effort. අමුතුවෙන් මේවා එකට දාන්න ඕනේ නැහැ කියලා කියන්නේ. Clear? As a Sri Lankan, you have in your mind පුතේ naturally it should be there, right? ස්වභාවිකවම මේක ඇහින් වෙන්න ඕනේ දෙයක් කියලා කියනවා. Clear? We must determine to protect cultural heritages, archaeological as well as for their physical value. පුතේ පුරාවිද්‍යාත්මක වටිනාකම විතරක් නෙමෙයි. And මේ භෞතික වටිනාකමනේ මේ හැමදේම බලලා we have to safeguard these heritages, right? මේ කියන උරුමයන් අපි ආරක්ෂා කරන්න ඕනේ without destroying them for our personal benefits. පුද්ගලික ලාභ අපේක්ෂා විනාශ කරන්න එපා කියලා කියනවා. Clear? Right. Most of the treasure hunters destroy these places. මේ ගොඩක් වෙන විදන් මොරු වෙන විතන් විනාශ කරනවා නේද? Different rules and regulations have been enacted to protect them mainly due to their archaeological importance. මේ පුරාවිද්‍යාත්මක වටිනාකම නිසා පුතේ මේ ආරක්ෂා කරන්න ගොඩක් බල නීති රීති සම්පාදනය කරලා දෙනවා කියලා කියනවා, right? You may have seen in newspapers, televisions and in other media the instances where people have destroyed these valuable cultural heritages for their temporary benefits. මේ తాවකාලික පුතේ මෙන්න මේ මොකද්ද? වාසියෙන් වෙන මිනිස්සු විනාශ කරන අවස්ථාව මොනවද කරන්නේ? Daily we can find out some news like that. Okay, දිනපතා මේවා අපිට එහෙනම් පුතේ. It is our duty and responsibility to raise a voice against such people. එවන් මිනිස්සුන්ට එරෙහිව අපි හඬක් නගන්න ඕනේ කියලා කියනවා, right? Don't give them a chance. Through those actions, we can legally interfere for safeguarding cultural heritage. Through those actions, we can legally interfere for safeguarding cultural heritage. Many cultural heritages have been accepted as world heritages also. Unless they are protected, the future generation will lose them, right? So, actually, the UNICEF organization, right? Is the organization that is in charge of protecting world heritages in the world, right? So, they have named some man-made and natural heritages as world heritages. Think about the natural world heritages that have named as world heritages. අපි ගත්තොත් ලංකාවේ තියෙන ස්වභාවික ලෝක උරුමයන් මොනවද? What are the natural world heritages in Sri Lanka? Especially the Sinharaja rainforest and the central hills. That means මධ්‍යම කඳුකරය. Clear? So we can't do harmful activities in those areas. It is prohibited. It is safeguarded, right? Actually, it is safeguarded or legally, right? එක නීතියෙන්ම ආරක්ෂා කරලා දෙන්නේ. Then when we talk about the man-made world heritage sites, we can find out Anuradhapura is sacred city, Polonnaruwa sacred city, Dambulla cave temple, right? Sigiriya, then Kandy sacred city, then Galle Fort, Clear? These are the man-made world heritage sites in Sri Lanka. Clear? Okay, the next part. It's a morality-based responsibility. You have the right to raise voice against the destruction of cultural heritages which reveal our identity to the world. එහෙනම් අපේ උරුමයන්ට හානියක් වෙනවා නම් you have to raise your voice against them. ඒට එරෙහිව හඬක් නගන්න කියලා කියනවා because it's our identity. ඒක අපේ අනන්‍යතාවය. It is a morality-based responsibility. මේ සදාචාරය පදනම් වෙච්ච අපේ යුතුයකමක් වගකීමක් කියලා කියනවා. Last part. Next part. Transmitting culture through the family. Children, let's look at how culture transmit through the family for generations, right? මේ පරම්පරා ගානක් කොහොමද කල්චර් එක සම්ප්‍රේෂණය වුණේ පවුල තුලින්. Family is the basic unit which transmit culture from one generation to the other. පුතේ පවුල තමයි මෙන්න මේ මූලික එකය, right? That culture is passed down from generation to generation, right? මේ පුතේ පරම්පරාවට කල්චර් එක දෙන්නේ මේ සත්‍ය තයාර කරන්නේ කවුද? පවුල. It passes elements of a culture to another generation. එන එක පරම්පරාවකින් තව පරම්පරාවකට ඒ උරුමයන් ටික දෙනවා. Right. Sorry. Mother, father, elder brothers and sisters, grandmother, grandfather, and the other relatives undertake the task of passing or entrusting the culture. They are elders of the family. They have a big responsibility. Yeah? They have to pass down this culture from generation to generation. They should have educate the younger generation about the culture, right? Clear? Now think about the instead of when we talk about the nuclear family and the extended family, you know that nuclear family consists of mother, father, and children, right? When we talk about the extended family, there may be people like grandmother, grandfather, other relatives, uncles and aunts, right? And children. So there is a high possibility and high capability of giving the passing down the culture from generation to generation. And there are so many elders there. So they are very aware about. They are so much aware about the cultural elements and the rituals, the traditions, all the things, right? So easily children can know about the cultural elements and they can practice those cultural rituals also, children. So extended family do a better service to the society also, right? They clear? For example, Sinhala and Tamil New Year rituals such as boiling milk, right? Then, kiri tirveem, consuming food, engaging in transaction, right? Consuming food, anointing with oil, are done by the elders in the presence of children. In nuclear families, I don't know whether how about your family is going, right? Now, in some, I know that in some families, they don't do, especially in nuclear families, right? But nuclear family. Then how can we pass down these cultural elements to the younger generation? ඉතින් අම්මා තාත්තා කරේ නැත්තම් මේවා ළමින්ට කොහොමද පුතේ යන්නේ? යන්නේ නැහැ නේද? Then think about extended family. දැන් ආච්චි සීයා කෙනෙක් ගෙදර ඉන්නවා කියලා කියන්නේ definitely they won't do them. අනිවාර්යෙන් ආච්චි සීයා නිකන් ඉන්න බෑ. ඕක කරන්න ඕනේ. Rituals ටික එහෙම. Clear? අන්න ඒකයි. So we don't have to skip them, right? And we can adapt with the modern techniques. Then think about boiling milk. දැන් ඔය කිරිතිරුම ගත්තාම දැන් අපි ඔය කියන්නේ මේ කරන සිංහල කට්ටියනේ දැන් ඔය think about some professors also give some alternatives, right? In urban areas also, there may be some, there may not enough facilities to boil milk, right? But you can use the gas cooker to boil milk, right? Right? So there are some alternatives, right? We can adapt with the technologies, right? By preserving those cultural elements. ඒවා රැකගෙන අපිට යන්න පුළුවන් ඉස්සරහට. Clear? Then children. Okay. Children, look at these rituals. මේ පොඩ වතාවත් ටික බලන්න මොනවද තිබ්බේ? සිංහල and Tamil New Year rituals. මොනවද? Boiling milk, කිරිතෙරවීම, consuming food, ආහාර අනුභවය, engaging in transaction, ගනුදෙනු කිරීම, anointing with oil, his telgam, right? Look at those words. It may be very useful for you, right? ඔයාලට වැදගත් වචන ටිකක් ඕක විතර මොනවා මේක. Then children, it will train the children to follow the same rituals in the future too. ඉතින් ළමයිනුත් පුතේ අනාගතේ මේවා කරන්න පුරුදු වෙනවා එතකොට. Thus the family contributes directly to transmit the culture to the future generation. නම් මේ පවුල ඍජුවම දායක වෙනවා. සංස්කෘතියක් තව එකකට තව පරම්පරාවකට දායක කරන්න. There may be some people like this. සමහර මේ මිනිස්සු පුළුවන්. I don't want this culture. Right? මට ඕනේ මේ සංස්කෘතිය. Right? Oh, I'll fly into another country. මම වෙන කොහෙද යනවා කියලා කටේ ඉන්නවා. And after flying, right? After migrating, they also have to live according to a particular culture in that country. Clear? ලංකාවේ පාගල සමහරව රට යනවා. හැබැයි පුතේ රට කියත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? They have to live according to this that particular culture. එහි සංස්කෘතියක් අනුව ගිහින් ජීවත් වෙන්න වෙනවා. Right? In each and everywhere, you are living in a particular cultural society, right? යම් කිසි සංස්කෘතියක් තියෙන සමාජය තමයි ඔයා කොහෙ ගියත් ජීවත් වෙන්න වෙන්නේ ඔයාලට. You have to adapt to that particular culture. ඔයාලා ඔය ලෝකෙ කොහෙ ගියත් you have to adapt to that particular culture. ඒ යම් සංස්කෘතියකට ඔයාලට අනුගත වෙන්න වෙනවමයි. You can't live alone, right? Clear? Then next one. Thus, the family contributes directly to transmit the culture to the future generation. In addition to that, the school, religious places, the parcel, Agamistan, elderly people, Padita Budgulio, and neighbors also contribute to pass down culture. ඒගොල්ලොත් දායක වෙනවා මෙන්න මේ සංස්කෘතිය ඉලක්ක පරම්පරාවට දායක කරන්න, right? You can find out some figures also, boiling milk, කිරියුතුරවනවා. Dealing with the well, ගනුදෙනු කිරීම නේ, පිටත් එක්ක ගනුදෙනු කරනවා. Then enjoying food, anointing oil is the game, right? There are some rituals of our culture, right? Sinhala culture. Okay. Next is term of children. Some social institutions and yes. And in institutions and individuals that may help out of mayor that help to pass down culture to the next generations. These are the answers, children. Family, school, religious institutions, elderly people, right. Write this question and the answer, Putala. Okay, I think time is enough for this one. Then children, let's put the next part. Okay. Actually, today we can finish the geography syllabus also, so we can do some more points regarding this one. Civic program exam. Then and health too. Right. Next part. Importance of safeguarding culture, right? Importance of safeguarding culture. That means සංස්කෘති ආරක්ෂාවේ වැදගත්කම. Clear? All the ethnic as well as religious groups make attempts to preserve or else we can say protect and maintain culture. Children, that's actually it's a duty and a responsibility of all the ethnic and religious groups, right? The same ජනවර්ගයකම ආගමික කණ්ඩායම විතරමත් නෙමෙයි මොකද්ද? They should make attempt to preserve their culture, right? සංස්කෘතිය ආරක්ෂා කරගන්නට ඒ උත්සාහ කරන්න ඕනේ. The reason is that it will support to safeguard the cultural heritages. Thereby, we can preserve or safeguard these cultural heritages. මේ උරුමයන් ටික තුළ ආරක්ෂා කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. For example, sorry, in Sri Lankans had been able to bring about several evidences of the fact that the culture of this country has shown to the world the identity of Sri Lankan culture or nationality. Today, actually, the past ancient people were able to preserve them for the next generation. So, we were able to express the grandeur of Sri Lankan culture to the world, right? With Lanka Shishnacharya, right? Stupas, temples, folk life based on agriculture. That means කෘෂිකර්මාන්තය මත පදනම් වෙච්ච ගැමි ජන ජීවිතය. Folk life based on agriculture. Religious rituals. That means අපි කියන ආගමික වතාව, right? Are some of the finest examples of Sri Lankan identity. Children, these features depict Sri Lankan identity well, right? හොඳටම පුතේ ලංකාවේ අනන්‍යතාව නිරූපණය කරන සාධකයක් මේ තිබ්බේ. මොනවාද? Hydraulic civilization, stupas, temples, folk life based on agriculture, religious rituals are some finest examples of Sri Lankan identity, right? Children, right. Yeah, you have given some figures here. In here also you have given some figures, right? Let's practice the mega part and like the previous figures, right? Alright, like the previous figures. Practice these figures also and look at these one also. මේවත් බලාගන්න පොඩ්ඩක් ආ. මෙන්න මේවා. Definitely there will be figures. අනිවාර්ය රූප නම් දෙන එකක් දෙනවා පුතේ ඈ බලන්න. Then this is irrigation. Don't write the answer like a tank, lake, එවලියට බා. Irrigation, that means irrigation. පුතේ මේ ඔක්කොම ඇලම ආරකණය වැව් ඔක්කොම එන්නේ මොකේද? Under the topic irrigation. වාරි කර්මාන්තය අතර එනවා. රුවන්වැලි සෑය. Right? Then Hindu Kovil. But it's not given a name here. නමක් නම් දීලා නැහැ. Just write the name Hindu Kovil. Then Catholic Church. කතෝලික පල්ලියක් කියලා ලියන්න පුළුවන් නේද? Right. Okay. Then children, with star mark can write this one. Some examples for the features that depict Sri Lankan identity. Sri Lankan identity. Okay. Then children, these are the answers. Hydraulic civilization, stupas, temples, folk life based on agriculture, religious rituals. These are the finest examples that depict Sri Lankan identity. hydraulic civilization, stupas, temples, folk life based on agriculture, religious rituals, right? Then I think we can next part. Again, children, please look at those figures, huh? Irrigation, Renaissance, Hindu Kovil, Catholic Church, right? Gonna make a holiday exam, gonna make a big out, gonna keep them out, right? In several years, it is been asked, make a holiday, how do you want to? So I'm going to go to the road, this one. Irrigation. Then the last paragraph. It is important to safeguard culture in order to build up national harmony. National harmony means Jatika Samagiyam. Children, if you want to build up national harmony, we should safeguard the all the cultures prevail in that particular country, right? Thereby we can maintain national harmony. Otherwise, there may be some conflicts also. For example, it is important to respect other cultures while safeguarding one's own culture. තමන්ගේ සංස්කෘතිය ආරක්ෂා කරන ගමන් you have to respect the other cultures too. You will protect the cultural elements of other cultures too. අනිකුත් සංස්කෘතිය ආරක්ෂා කරන්නත් වෙනවා. ගෞරව කරන්නත් වෙනවා. Consequently, suspicion, සැකය, hatred, වෛරය, jealousy, ඊර්ෂ්‍යාව, any other hostile feelings will be eliminated. ඒ වගේ දේවල් අපි අයින් කරලා මුල් නුක්කා දාන්න ඕන කියලා කියනවා. Eliminated. අයින්ම කරලා දාන්න කියනවා. Don't keep such kind of things in your mind. අපේ මනස තියාගන්න එපා කියනවා. මේ වගේ දේවල් about the other religions and the ethnic groups, right? Suspicion, සැකය, hatred, වෛරය, jealousy, ඊර්ෂ්‍යාව, and any other hostile feelings, right? It will help to build up national harmony. එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? Thereby we can build up national harmony. ජාතික සමගිය වර්ධනය කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. Especially it will contribute to create Sri Lankan consciousness. ඒ ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයෝ කියන හැඟීම එතකොටයි ඇති වෙන්නේ. Clear? අද කාලේ ටිකක් විතර එක අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා. Not unlike the previous times, right? අපි ඔය ඒ කාලේට වඩා දැන් ටිකක් අතරම අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා. Now think about the Indians, right? Think about the Americans, think about the Japanese. They are happy about their cultures. They are happy about their actually the country, right? තමන් රටවල් ගැන ගොඩක් ආඩම්බරයක් තියෙනවා. But Sri Lanka actually lack of good leaders පුතේ. ලංකාවට හොඳ නායකයෝ නම් අඩුයි පුතේ. පොඩි කියන්න ඕනේ නෑනේ. Especially the political leaders. දේශපාලන නායකත් එක්ක ගත්තාම ඇත්තටම දැන් මේ අවුරුදු 70ක් විතර ඉස්සර නේද? Most of them are actually the cheaters, like වංචාකාරයෝ නේද? And most of them are engaged in corruptions, bribery, forgery. හරි? ඕමනේ කරේනේ. Theft, හොරගම, ඕමයි කරේ. You think Sri Lanka is lack of real good leaders පුතේ. ඉතින් ඉස්සර වගේ අපේ ඉස්සර කාලේ මුතු මිත්තු වගේ හොඳ නායකයෝ දැන් ලංකාවේ නැහැ. අඩුයි පේට එක මානකත් නැහැ වගේ. The next one. In a multicultural society, living in coexistence while safeguarding cultural heritages of all the communities leads to the growth of national pride. That means, children, in of all the communities leads to the growth of national pride. ජාතික මෙන්න මේ අභිමානය වර්ධනයට බලපානවා කියලා කියනවා. Right? Think about India. Okay, there are hundreds of ethnic groups. Like India ගත්තාම පුතා ජනවර්ග 100. There are hundreds of religions. ආගම් 100 ගණනක් තියෙනවා. But they work as one nation. හැබැයි ඒගොල්ලෝ එක ජාතියක් විතර ඉන්නවා. ලංකාවේ කාටද? Right? Sri Lanka lacks this one, okay? අතන ලංකාවේ හැංගී ඒ සෙන්ස් එක නැහැ. සෙන්ස් එක දෙන්නේ මිනිස්සුන්ට ලංකාවේ. ඒකයි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. Clear? Most of the countries in this modern world are multicultural societies. Okay. Another important part in this lesson today. වැදගත්ම කොටසක් මේ තියෙනවා. Symbols that reflect national identity. Symbols means සංකේත. Symbols that reflect national identity. ජාතික රණතාව විදහා දක්වන සංකේත. Right? Most of the countries in this modern world are multicultural societies. Okay, nowadays, except a few countries, especially the Afghanistan, North Korea, right? Except few countries, all the other countries are multicultural, right? අනිකුත් පුතේ බහුතර රටවල් බහුසංස්කෘතිකයි, right? Except few countries, right? ඔය රටවල් කීපයක් කරන්නේ. Many ethnic, religious and language groups live within the same country. පුතේ එකම රටේ we talk about this many times, huh? මේ අපි හිතමු කීප දේවල් ඕන තරම් දැන් අපි කියලා තියෙනවා නේද? Different types of ethnic groups with ජනවර්ග, different types of religious groups with ආගමික කණ්ඩායම්, different types of language users living in the same country, right? එකම රටේ ජීවත් වීම. That is a multicultural society, right? This is known as multicultural social system, right? අපි එකට කියනවා this is known as multicultural social system. බහු සංස්කෘතික සමාජකරණයක් කියලා කියනවා. Clear? Each group has its own unique identity, which should essentially be protected by all. Children, think about the Muslims, think about the Sinhalese, the Tamils, the Burghers and Malays, think about the Buddhists, think about the Hindus, think about the Islamic people, think about the Christian and Catholics. All the people, all the categories have their own. They are kind of the mics, please. They all have their own identities, right? So look at the next part. If not there is the possibility of erupting hostilities and conflicts among their group there. So we should live with coexistence. Right? Without any hostile feelings. Right. What happened here? They don't share whiteboards, right? Or share then next one. Another visible. Right, then next one. Right. In a multicultural society, if all citizens could work as united collective groups with social integrity, it will help to build up national identity. That means in a multicultural society, බහු සංස්කෘතික ජන සමාජයක if all citizens could work as united, හැමෝටම පුතේ එකවන්න වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් collective සාමූහිකව ඉන්න පුළුවන් නම් groups with social integrity, it will help to build up national identity. ජාතික ඒකාත්මතාවයකින් යුතුව නේද? සමාජීය ඒකාත්මතාවයකින් යුතුව වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් it will build up national identity. ජාතික රණතාවය වැඩි වෙනවා, වර්ධනය වෙනවා කියලා කියනවා. For example, if all the Sinhalese, Tamils, Muslims, Catholics and Christians and those who speak Sinhala, Tamil and English work with Sri Lankan consciousness, it is called national identity. That means children, if you can work with the Sri Lankans, that consciousness, right? Sri Lankikyo කියන හැඟීමෙන් වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් if all the ethnic groups and religious groups can work with that conscience, that is Sri Lankan identity. That is national identity. අපි එකට කියනවා ජාතික අනන්‍යතාවය කියලා. Sri Lanka has several symbols which symbolize national identity there. Okay, when we talk about the symbols, right? The සංකේත ගත්තාම there are some symbols that depicts national identity. මේ ජාතික අනන්‍යතාවය විදහා දක්වන සංකේත තියෙනවා. Clear? They are national flag, ජාතික ධජය, national anthem, ජාතික කොඩිය, right? National emblem, රාජ්‍ය ලාංඡනය, national tree, ජාතික වෘක්ෂය, national flower, ජාතික පුෂ්පය, national bird, ජාතික පක්ෂය, national sport, ජාතික ක්‍රීඩා, right? There are some examples for symbols that depict national identity. Clear? Okay, children. Then, first of all, before we are going to discuss these things are separate, we can write them all, okay? Right. Then all of you can write books and put another star mark, please. Then we are going to write down these symbols, right? Some symbols that depict national identity of Sri Lanka. Of Sri Lanka. Right. Let's move towards the answers. Write them downwards. National flag, national anthem, national emblem, national tree, national flower, national bird, national sport. Right. The time is up for this one. Next part. Okay. Then children, let's move towards geography. Huh? On next day, we can talk about these symbols one by one, right? Okay, then children, on next day, we can start from national flag, right? Then all of you take out your geography books and get ready. I think there's only a small part to be done. Today we can finish the syllabus and we can do some extra things about the syllabus and let's do a revision also. पाड़ा आपको मता करेगा नहीं था अभी. Let's do a revision. Okay, हम part tag करें, right? Right. Yes, now we are going to end up this lesson Putana map marking, right? Sithyam Lakum Kirima, right? When at the beginning of the lesson we talk about the features, basic features of maps Putana. There are different types of maps, then direction, scale, key, and the map index, right? Okay. And we talk about what are the atlas, right? Atlases that are in current usage in Sri Lanka, දැනට අපි භාවිතා කරන ඉතිහාස පොත් අපි කතා කරා. Right, Sri Lanka School Atlas and Sri Lanka Atlas book. And we talk about some different types of maps that can be find out in that kind of map books. And we talk about the basic features of maps one by one, direction, scale. And I told you that how to find direction if it is not given the relevant direction පුතාලා විශාල දින නැත්තම් හොයාගන්න කොහොමද කියන්නේ මම කියලා දුන්නා නේද? Consider the direction of the heading as the north direction, right? And we talk much about the scale, පරිමාණය කතා කරා. And we talk about the key, සුචි ගැන කතා කරා. About the conventional signs, right? And we discuss about the index. Then at last we talk about copying maps, right? සිතියම් පිටපත් කිරීම කියන දේ තමයි අපි නවත්ත ගත්තේ, right? Copying maps, right? Copying maps can be done in different ways. Methods of copying have developed with technology. දැන් සිතියම් පිටපත් කිරීම කියන තාක්ෂණික දියුණුවලා තියෙනවා. Copying by using tissue paper. මේ tissue papers භාවිතයෙන් අපිට copy down කරන්න පුළුවන් නේ. I told you that. Take a tissue paper and keep that tissue paper on the map. සිතියේ මුලින් තියෙනවා. Right? Keep the tissue paper on the relevant map and draw the margins. AC මාටික ඇඳ ගන්නවා. Then take that tissue paper. Now you can see the margins here. Then take a blank sheet or the book that you want to trace it, right? Keep that tissue paper on that paper or the book and keep the draw the lines again on that tissue paper. Then you can find out the markings on the relevant paper or the book. Then you can draw the margins along with your pencil on that book or the paper, right? So after trace කරගන්න map එක. By photography and photography කරනවා, right? The other one is printing සහ මුද්‍රණය කිරීම. Printing. Then today we have talked about this one, right? It is expected to give the skill of copying a map of Sri Lanka to a paper from a model map of Sri Lanka. Then Sri Lanka වේ ආදර්ශ සිතියමක් අරගෙන කොහොමද how to copy that map into your book into the book or a paper, right? දැන් කොහොමද මේ model map එකක් copy down කරන්නේ? Trace කරගන්නේ පොතකට පොලේකට, right? You need map book. These are the things that you want. Map book, that means සිතියම් පොතක් ඕනේ. Tissue papers, right? සිතියම් අපි කියන සවුල් කළා වගේ දේවල් ඕන වෙනවා, right? Tissue paper එකක් ඕනම නේද වගේ. There are other transparent papers. Yes, as alternatives you can use other transparent papers. අනිකුත් මිනිඳු පේන ගන්න පුළුවන් කොලයක් ගන්න, right? Okay. Pencils, පැන්සලක් ඕන වෙනවානේ. Then papers, paper pins or paper clips. Okay, the pins pin, paper pins paper clips ගන්න set කරගන්න, right? You can keep that one in stationary place, right? Right? You can keep it stationary. Otherwise, it may be moves here and there, right? Look at there, look at it. Some boys are crazy maps. Then these are the things that you want for this purpose. Okay, here you have given the procedure of tracing maps, right? Number 1. Choose a model map of Sri Lanka either from Sri Lanka National Map Collection or another map book. Today we make ජාතික ඉතිහාස සංග්‍රහයෙන්, right? නැත්නම් මේ වෙනත් පොතකින් map එකක් තෝරගන්න කියලා කියනවා. Number 2. Set the tissue paper on the map and draw the coastline. පුතේ මේ map එක උඩින් tissue paper එක තියලා අවට තීරය margins ඇඳගන්න කියලා කියනවා. සීමාවන් ඇඳගන්න කියලා කියනවා, right? This is about Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka again, you can trace any other map also on map tag. You know that Sri Lanka is an island, so you can you can draw the coastal line, right? You can mark that margin, right? AC Number 3. Set the tissue paper on the map and draw the coastal line. Number 3. Set the tissue paper on the paper you need to copy the map and draw on that line again. So after drawing on the tissue paper, you can after taking it out of the map book, you can find out that you can see the margins. You can find out the coastal belt of Sri Lanka, right? The margin has been drawn in the tissue paper. So you can place it on the book or the paper that you want to trace it, right? And draw that again. Right? Then now remove on the tissue paper and draw the coastal line of Sri Lanka on the trace line on paper. On these margins, you can draw the lines, okay? Draw the coastal lines, okay? Cleanliness and neatness are compulsory in copy map. උදේ පිස්සු බව සහ පිළිවෙල කියන දේ අතරම වැදගත් වෙනවා. සිතියම් පිටපත් කිරීමේදී. Next one. Copying the border of a country can be done directly through this thing. You can't mark the interior margins with these maps. උදේ. ගොඩක් ඔය අභ්‍යන්තර දේවල් ලකුණු කරන්න අමාරුයි මෙන්න මේ method එකෙන්. But you can draw the coastal lines and other boundaries, other main boundaries with the help of these types of methods, right? මේවගේ ක්‍රමවලින් ඉතින් අපිට පුළුවන් ඒ boundary එක දැන් suppose Sri Lanka is an island, right? දුපතක් you can find out the coastal belt, you can mark the border of the country. ඒ රටක සීමාව වශයෙන් මාක් කරගන්න හොඳයි මේක. Okay? If you want to mark the interior ones, right? If you want to copy down such things, you can move toward these methods, make a mold and the photocopy and printing, right? Children, you have to write this method. Right. Then the subtopic, please, copy maps, right? Or tracing maps in book one. Tracing maps. Tracing maps. Tracing maps. Okay. Children, to do this one, you need these types of equipment, right? Presta mark and this one. Equipments needed to copy down maps. Copy down maps. Equipments needed to copy down maps. Right. Then children, you can write down these equipments. Map book, tissue papers, other transparent papers, pencils, paper pins, paper clips. These are the equipments necessary for copying down map, children. Let's write them. Right. Time is up for this one. Next part, children. Here we have given the steps of copying down a map, children, right? On a copy down, right. The next question, children, right. Write down the method of. It is not a street code නිරන්තරයෙන් අහන ප්‍රශ්න නෙමෙයි. But you have to write those equipments. Equipments විතරම අහනවා. But once there was a question like this මේ method, right? It has asked this method once, right? එකවරක් මේ method එක ලියන්නත් ඇවිල්ලා තිබ්බා. So you should have to write them, right? So ලියා ගන්න. Write down the method of copying down a map. Write down the method of copying down a map. This is the procedure. So you have to write this one, okay? Don't be lazy. You have your 4 steps here. You have your 4 steps here. So let's try it there, I believe. This is the procedure of copying down a map, right? You have to inform me when it's over. That is the previous question, na? Ekute kalin prashne. This is the question I gave you, right? The previous question is, what are the equipments necessary for copying down map? These are the equipments. The next question is this one. Write down the method of copying down a map. Write down the method of copying down a map. සිතියමත් පිටපත් කිරීමේ ක්‍රමවේදය ලියන්න. The answer is this one. This is the method. ක්‍රමවේදය. So you have to practice it up here. Right? This is the method. I'll give you sufficient time. Please do it quickly. Remember. When it is over, you have to inform me, children. Then we can move to the next part. Children, how about now? If it is so, please inform me.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
Right. At the end of the lesson, this part of my then you have to do some map markings, right? Okay, Sithyam Lakno Kilimanka. Then right. When you join with the next day geography session Kudana, you have to keep some Sri Lankan maps, right? Or Sri Lankan maps ටිකක් තියාගන්න ඕන. Clear? We have to mark some important places in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka වැදගත් ස්ථාන ටික අපි ලකුණු කරමු mark කරමු, right? Actually you can mark them separately also. අපිට වෙන වෙනමත් mark කරන්න පුළුවන්. For example, sanctuaries in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka we are Bhuvi, right? All the features are given in them. You look at this tourist map, you can find out so many features here. We can mark them separate, right? Some historical places in Sri Lanka, right? Some religious places in Sri Lanka, right? And some tourist attractive beaches in Sri Lanka, and we can mark some waterfalls like topography features in Sri Lanka and wildlife sanctuaries one GB Abhibhumi. Let's mark them separately. Let me mark right? So you have to keep at least 4 Sri Lankan maps, right? Sri Lanka Sitiyam හතරක් විතර තියාගන්නකෝ. It's then it is clear to handle it, right? ඒකට පොඩ පැහැදිලි නේද? තව එක මාකර් ඔක්කොම පේන්නෙත් නැහැනේ. So keep 4 Sri Lankan maps, right? It's better to keep blank maps here. His map gun, right? Not with political divisions, right? මේ පළාත් සීමා, district සීමා mark නොකරපු ගන්න. Then keep 4 Sri Lankan maps when you join with the next day class, children. Then this is the end of the session. Then let's move to health studies. I think health right. All of you take out your health books and get ready. Let's put a message Jones moving to put down, right? Right. I think really it's a new lesson, right? Last day we finished the lesson emotions, right? Emotion right. Then today we can move towards the next lesson. Sorry. It's a small lesson, right? It's a small lesson. But there are some points to be discussed. Then, okay. Unit number 12, let us respect the rules, regulations, and ethics in sports, right? Children, let's try the topic, please. Okay. The rules, regulations, and ethics in sports. Right? The new lesson, let us respect rules, regulations, and ethics in sports. In geography, after the map marking, we can do a revision, no? I think there are some newcomers also. Newcomers, right? So let's do a revision part. Okay, let's revise the things that we learned earlier, right? Let's do a discussion with right? After the map marking, we can move towards that one, right? We are going to start the new lesson, unit number 12. Let us respect the rules, regulations, and ethics in sports. Sorry. Okay. The most important duty of a sportsman woman is to respect the rules, regulations, and ethics in sports and abide by them. Children, and I think you also engaging in some kind of sports, Pradana. So you know that there are set of rules and regulations in the game or the sport that you are engaged in, right? So what is the purpose of appointing such kind of rules and regulations, Pradana? Hey, මොකටද මේ නීති දාන්නේ? What is the purpose of that one? To conduct the game well, there should be a set of rules and regulations, right? හරියට ක්‍රීඩාව කරගෙන යන්නට අනිවාර්යෙන්ම තියෙන්න ඕනේ නීති රීති මාලාවක්. And to minimize conflicts. And for the fairness of the game. Fairness means ක්‍රීඩාවේ සාධාරණත්වයට නීති රීති ඕනේ. Clear? Then, as a sportsman, as a sportwoman, you should have to respect the rules and regulations that you are engaged in. ඉතින් ඔයා කරන ක්‍රීඩාවේ නීති රීති වලට ඔයාට අනුගත වෙනවා නේද ඇත්තටම. You respect them, right? ඔයා නීති වලට ගරු කරන්න වෙනවා. And you to follow them. අනුගමනය කරන්න වෙනවා. A sportsman woman should have a basic understanding of the rules and regulations of the sport. Children, think about cricket, think about athletic event, think about the other organized games like football, netball, volleyball, rugby. When you are engaging in such kind of sports, Pratana, you will be learned about, you will be taught about the game rules or the rules and regulations of the sport that you are engaged in, right? ඔයාට උගන්වනවා නේද මේ ටික? නීති රීති ටික උගන්වනවා පුතේ. So you have to have a clear understanding about the rules and the regulations of the sport that you are engaged in, right? ඔයා කරන ක්‍රීඩාව ගැන නම් හොඳ අවබෝධයක් තියෙනවා. You know about the rules and regulations of them. A player should be trained to accept the decisions of umpires with respect. That means, children, a player should be trained to accept the decisions of umpires with respect. Children, if there's a doubt about the umpire's decision, then umpire can give the decision again doubt at you have to inform it through the captain of the team. Inform don't go to argue with them, don't go to quarrel with them, right? Otherwise, you will be actually you have to pay fines also. That is you want to know, and you will ban from the sports also. Right? The best example is the FIFA World Cup one. FIFA World Cup again. Argentina team that final match 3 persons actually engaged in illegal manner at the end of the game. අර අවසානයේ 3 මිනිත් පොඩ දඟලුවානේ අර එක එක බෙල්ල මිරි ගලා ස්ක්වීස්. It's not suitable for a game. ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැ වනේ. හරි. මෙසි දර්ශනය තියෙනවා. ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැ ඒ කරන වැඩ. ටීම් එකකින් කරන වැඩ. හරි. And some of the actually 16 players, I think nearly 16 players got red cards through the FIFA tournament, right? කෙලින්ම FIFA එකේ පුරාවටම 16ක් හරි වගේ ගානක් red cards ගත්තා. What the reason? මොකද හේතුව? Due to violating rules and regulations of the sport. ක්‍රීඩාවේ නීති රීති උල්ලංඝනය කිරීම, right? Next one. A player should be trained to accept the decisions of umpires with respect. A player should be trained to accept the decisions of umpires with respect. You have to respect the decisions given by the umpires, right? Such sportsmen and women are considered well-behaved and self-disciplined and earn the respect of the public. But sportsmen and women are considered well-behaved. Only has it and self-disciplined. And earn the respect of public. Clear? Once Mahela Javardhana won this award today, award for maintaining spirit of the game. ක්‍රීඩාවේ ජීව ගුණය රැක ගැනීමට දෙන වෙන මේ පරිත්‍යාග කරන යෙදෙන word එක අහම වෙනවා. ඇයි? boundary line එකේ අර හතරක් කියන එකක් එයා ඒක නෑ කියලා කියන්නේ. Actually, there was chance to say it's a boundary. නමුත් තිබ්බ chance එකක් එතන කියන්නේ boundary එකක් කියලා. But honestly, he said that it's not a boundary. කියලා boundary එකක් නෙමෙයි කියලා. sorry, ඒක boundary එක යනවා ඒකතරම. ඒක නොකිය කියන්නේ boundary එක කියන්නේ නෑ කියලා. නමුත් එයා without hesitating umpires, without wasting the time of the game, he told that it's a boundary. එයා එතන කෙලින්ම කියනවා ඒක boundary එකක් කියලා. තවත් බුරුට කාලෙක අන්න නැතුව එයා කෙලින්ම කියනවා. right? අන්න ඒ වගේ open minded, right? කෙලින්ම මේ honest මනුස්සයෝ ඒ අවංක ක්‍රීඩා කරන මනුස්සයෝ, right? That's why they have been awarded. ඒ අයට ඒ වගේ සම්මාන හම්බෙන්නේ ඒ නිසා. Clear? Then and earn the respect of the public. මහ ජනතාවගේ ගෞරවත්වයට යට ලැබෙනවා. Right? Okay. Last year, you learn about the importance of being law-abiding and cautious in sports as well as in your day-to-day life, right? That means children, last year, the year last year you learned about the importance of being law-abiding, right? අපි කියනවා නීතිගරුක වීම වැදගත්කම කතා කරා and cautious ආචාරශීලීත්වය and cautious in sports as well, right? ආචාරශීලී බව අපි කතා කරා, right? You also learn that sport fosters mutual respect and tolerance of and respect for different views, right? That means you also learn that sports fosters mutual respect. But they make ක්‍රීඩාව නේද වෙනවා අන්‍යෝන්‍ය අපි know ගරුත්වයට බලපානවා, right? ඒක පවත්වාගෙන යන්න ඕන අපි නේද? We have to tolerate the others ideas and we have to tolerate and respect the others ideas. අනිත් අයගේ මතවලට ගරු කරන්න වෙනවා, දරා ගන්න වෙනවා, right? There may be different views of others. එක අදහස් තියෙන කෙනෙක් ගාව, එක කෙනා ගාව. So we have to handle all the situations, right? In this lesson, you will learn the importance of abiding by the rules, regulations, and ethics in sports, and your duties and responsibilities in that regard, right? Okay. The first subtopic is rules and regulations in sport, right? Niti Riti. Hey children, what I mean by rules and regulations in sport? Huh? What I mean by rules and regulations? First, later we can talk about ethics. Ethics. First of all, we are going to talk about rules and regulations of sports, right? Rules and regulations are an agreed set of conventions in accordance with which a sport has to be conducted. ක්‍රීඩාවක් පවත්වාගෙන යනකොට කොහොමද අන්න ඒව පුතේ ඒව සම්බන්ධයි අපි කියනවා rules and regulations are an agreed set of conventions in accordance with which sport has to be conducted. ක්‍රීඩාව පවත්වාගෙන යා යුත්තේ කොහොමද අන්න ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් එකඟතාවයකට පැමිණි ඒ සම්මුතිය සමූහයක් agreed set of conventions. ක්‍රීඩාව කොහොමද කරන්න ඕන කියලා එකඟතාවයකට ආපු සම්මුතිය සමූහයක්. They are known as rules and regulations. We have to conduct this like this. අපි මෙහෙම ක්‍රීඩාව මෙහෙම වෙනවා මෙහෙම කරන්න ඕනේ. time period මෙහෙමයි. The standard distance are these like should be like this, okay? ඒ දුර ප්‍රමාණය මෙහෙම වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? ඒ වගේ these rules and regulations cover all the areas of the sport. ක්‍රීඩාවේ හැම අංශයක්ම ආවරණය වෙනවා මෙතන. Right? Rules and regulations are an agreed sort of conventions in accordance with which sport has to be conducted. ක්‍රීඩාවක් කොහොමද කරන්න ඕනේ අන්නේ කරන්න ඕන විදිය දැක්වෙන එකකතාවයට ආපු සම්මුතිය සමූහයක්. They are known as rules and regulations of it. Then children, first of all, what are known as rules and rules and regulations in sports. Then children, you can move towards the answers. There's a definition here. Rules and regulations are an agreed set of conventions in accordance with which a sport has to be conducted, right? Right. Any times enough of this one. Okay, children, let's look at some. Let's look at the origin of rules and regulation, children. Then බලමු මේවා කොහොමද ඇතුනේ කියලා, right? Although the origin of sports rules and regulation is not known exactly, it is reported that certain rules and regulations had been in place during the first Olympic Games in 776 BC, right? Children, we can't find out any evidence about the origination of sport rules and regulations. But it has happened with the time, right? The කාලෙත් එක්ක තියෙන්නේ නැති නේද? Step by step, gradually, different kinds of rules may be introduced by them, right? By the ancient people. But we can find out evidences about the Olympics, right? අපිට සාධකම් වෙනවා Olympics ගැන. I think the first Olympic Games were held in 776 BC. Previously also we discussed about this one. අපි මේක කලිනුත් කතා කරලා තියෙනවානේ. හරි. එතකොට මේ පුතේ BC before Christ means ක්‍රිස්තු පූර්වනේ. This is anno Domini. අපි කියන්නේ anno Domini කියන්නේ. කියන්නේ ක්‍රිස්තු වර්ෂ. After the birth of Jesus Christ. This is before the birth of Jesus Christ. එතනත් ඊට කලිනුත් අවුරුදු 700 ගන්න කලින්. එතන කොච්චර කල්ද කියලානේ. අවුරුදු 2000 බර ගන්න. Right. Then children, in that time period also, there were rules and regulations regarding sports, right? They call it with the development of sports and the increase of competition in it, the rules and regulations have been evolved to their present status, undergoing change from time to time. කාලෙත් එක්ක වෙනස්කම් වෙවි, කාලෙත් එක්ක මේවා වෙනස් වෙවි ආව කියලා කියන කාලෙත් එක්ක, right? Think about the discus throw. අපි ගත්තොත් කවපෙත් විසි කිරීම. In the first Olympic Games also, a report says that discus throw has been held, right? කවපෙත් විසි කිරීම කියන තරගේ එහෙම පුතේ ඒ කාලේ first Olympic කාලෙත් තිබ්බ කියලා කියනවා. Clear? There was a film called Hercules. දැන් Hercules කියලා ෆිල්ම් එකක් තියෙනවානේ. අන්න ඒකේ තියෙනවා විස්තර ඔක්කොම නේ ටිකක් තියෙනවා. ඕකේ තර මෑතක ආපු ඩෑන් ජොන්සන් එක නෙමෙයි. 1965 හරි 58 හරි sorry I think 58 1958 1958 විතර ආපු එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒතන YouTube එකේ තියෙනවා ඒක. අන්න ඒ ෆිල්ම් එකේ ඉන්න හොඳ ලස්සන Hercules කියන size Hercules කෙනෙක්. හරි. There we can find out the competition between some noblemen and the Hercules. වෙනත් තියෙනවා Hercules ගේ noblemen ලාගේ ඉදිරියට තරගාවලියක් එහෙම තියෙනවා ඒක මරු. Right? And fight with lions. Hercules. Right? A legendary character. In that time period also, එකක් වෙන්නේ Greek එකනේ ඒක base වෙන්නේ කොහෙද? Greece මේ Greece නේද? මෙන්න මේ Athens පාති වෙලා තමයි හැදෙන්නේ. Then children, second paragraph. In sports are governed by rules and regulations. Children, without rules and regulations, you can't help, you can manage, you can't actually compete in games, right? What තරඟවල බෑ ඇත්තටම නීති රීති නැතුව නේද? The people may do whatever they want. මිනිස්සු ඕනම කරන්නේ එතකොට. Right? Okay. Then to ensure equality, to ensure fairness, to ensure the safety of the players, there should be rules and regulation. පුතේ ඔය කියන සාධාරණත්වය නේද මේ ක්‍රීඩකයන්ගේ ආරක්ෂාව හැම දෙයකම, right? We want rules and regulation for the sports. Any game has a set of rules that tell us how it is played. Children, think about cricket, think about the football, think about the rugby. In each and every game contain rules and regulations covering all the areas of the sport, and they tell us how to conduct the game, how to do the game, right? අපිට කියන කොහොමද කරන්න ඕන ක්‍රීඩාව කොහොම කියනවා, right? Rules applicable in organized games and athletics are formulated by the relevant international sport bodies for this. International sport bodies means, for example, Football Council, International Football Council, Japan Football Summit, the council, right? And the Football Federation, Cricket Council, ICC, International Cricket Council, right? Rugby Council, there are some international bodies also, and there are some national bodies. They give us the instruction to the countries, right? To the countries who are participating in those events, the international bodies will give the instructions and the rules and regulations, and they give the updates. Yeah, updates are to the national bodies. Think about Sri Lanka Cricket Council, the International Cricket Council again, National Sri Lanka Cricket Council again, right? So they are not well today, that's why. Okay. The next part. Rules are necessary to ensure fairness. And equality to all in sport. Regulations are to form terms and tension being within the frame of rules. නීති බලාත්මක වෙන මෙන්න මේ තත්ත්වයන් යටතේ යන්න. They are regulations. ඒවා තමයි අපි කියන්නේ නීති සහ regulation කියලා කියන්නේ, right? Then okay, next part children. Ethics in sports, ක්‍රීඩාවේ ආචාර ධර්ම, right? Ethics in sports, ක්‍රීඩාවේ ආචාර ධර්ම. Okay. They are holding the World Cup here, right? India and Sri Lanka. Then the final match in 2014, right? Then next part. Moral principles and values that govern the person's conduct are referred to as ethics. Hey, what is mean by ethics? Moral principles. This principle we get a mooladharma again, yeah? Moral principles and values that govern a person's conduct. පුතේ පුද්ගලයාගේ චර්යාව පාලනය කරන මෙන්න මේ ඒ ගුණධර්ම. ඒ සදාචාරාත්මක මූලධර්ම. They are known as, they are referred to as ethics. ඕවට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ ආචාර ධර්ම කියලා. Clear? In sports, ethics call for good behavior. ක්‍රීඩාවේ ethics කියන්නේ මොනවද මේ? යහපත් හැසිරීම චර්යාවන්ට. Observing traditions. මේ ක්‍රීඩාවේ සම්ප්‍රදායන අනුගමනය කිරීම. So that the sports can be conducted in accordance with its rules and regulations. ඉතින් එතකොට පුළුවන් වෙනවා ක්‍රීඩාව ඒ නීති රීති අනුව කරගෙන යන්න, right? Then children, we can write this one. What are known as ethics in sports? What are known as ethics in sports? What are known as ethics in sports? Right. Okay, moral principles and values that govern a person's conduct are referred to as ethics. This is the answer, children. I think time is enough for this one. Okay.
Dancer.
Okay, next part. Your elders may have taught you what is accepted by the society as ethical, right? Children, your parents, your grandparents, but they all, your teachers also always taught you that what is accepted by society is ethical. අපි කියනවා ආචාර ධර්මයක් කියන්නේ මේ සමාජය පිළිගන්න දේවල්. සමාජයෙන් අපිට උගන්වන දේවල්, දෙමාපියෝ උගන්වන දේවල්, right? Ethics are essential to have a good society today. Children, it is essential, nah? There may be skilled persons in our society today. අපේ සමාජයේ ඉතින් දක්ෂ මිනිස්සු ඉන්නවා. But they should be ethical today. එයාගාව මේ ආචාර ධර්ම තියෙන්න ඕනේ. දැන් in sports, the sport person or a woman should ethical, right? They should follow ethics. ආචාර ධර්ම තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Otherwise, spectators actually insult them and reject them and don't accept them. එයාලා පිළිගන්නේ නැහැ, ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරනවා, අපහාස කරනවා එයාලට. Clear? අන්න එහෙම issues තියෙනවා නේද? Right. දැන් මේ පාර FIFA World Cup එකේ අර්ජෙන්ටිනා වලට මේ යන්නේ ඒක. හරි. දැන් මේසිලට අපිත් ආදරේ. නමුත් මොකද මේ ඒ ටීම් එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් දාගත්තා නේ. ටීම් එකේ පොඩි ප්‍රශ්න එකක් වුණා. right? අන්න ඒක ඉතින් බහුතරයක් බලන් හිටියේ පරදිනකම්. right? අන්න එහෙම issue එකක් තිබ්බ මේ පාර. But the thing about the last FIFA World Cup හැබැයි ගිය අවුරුදු FIFA World Cup එකේ හැමෝම බලන් හිටියේ ඒගොල්ලෝ දින්නකම්. මේ issue එකක් වුණේ නැහැ. But the behavior, the conduct affect the spectators responses. ඒ යම් ක්‍රීඩා කණ්ඩායමක හැසිරීම දක්ෂ අය ප්‍රසිද්ධයි හිටිය කියලා නෑ පුතා. යම් ක්‍රීඩා කණ්ඩායමක් නීතිරිත උඩට ප්‍රශ්න උනේ ඊජිප්ත් වල මැච් එක. ඒකෙන් පස්සේ තමයි කතන්දරය ආවා එළියට. ගොඩක් කට්ටිය දැන් ඊට පස්සේනේ. අන්න ඒකත් එක්ක ප්‍රශ්න දිලා ආවා. right? ඉතින් ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. right? Once they were popular, become unpopular due to violating rules and regulation. යම් කණ්ඩායමක් යම් කාලෙකදී ජනප්‍රිය වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි නීති උල්ලංඝනය කළොත් එන්නේ මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඒගොල්ලෝ ජනප්‍රිය භාවය නැතිලා යනවා. clear? තේරුම් ගන්න ඒක. ඔයාලා ස්පෝර්ට් කරන ළමයි. Then ethics are essential to have a good society, right? Then ethics are essential to have a good society. නම් යහපත් සමාජයකට හොඳ ආචාර ධර්ම ඕන කරනවා. How far do you observe them? ඔයාලා කොච්චරක් නම් ethics follow කරනවද කියලා අහනවා, right? Okay, then to expand, why are rules, regulations, and ethics are required in sport? Definitely, it's a question. මේක අනිවාර්යෙන් අහන ප්‍රශ්නයක්. third term එකේ ඔන්න පහදන් කරගන්න. Clear? Alright. Let's practice some of them. Right? Let's practice some of them. Right? මෙතනින් කීපයක් මේ ගාම පාඩම් කරගන්නකො. Children, why What is the reason for the importance of rules and regulations for and ethics for a sport, right? Any ක්‍රීඩාවකට මේ නීති රීති ආචාර ධර්ම ඕනේ. Number one, for the existence of this sport. That means children ක්‍රීඩාවේ පැවැත්මට. Second one, to protect the rights of the participant. සහභාගී වෙන අය to protect the rights of the sport personals, right? මේ ක්‍රීඩා කරන පුද්ගලයන්ගේ අයිතිවාසිකම් ආරක්ෂා කරන්න. Otherwise, others will violate them. නැත්නම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? අනිත් කටිය ඒව උල්ලංඝනය කරන්නේ. To minimize accidents. අනතුරු අවම කරගන්නට. Clear? Number 4. There are some rules regarding the equipment that you had to wear. Right? Then ඔයාලා භාවිතයට උපකරණ සම්බන්ධ නීති රීති තියෙනවානේ. මොකටද ඒවා තියෙන්නේ? Thereby we can minimize accidents. Number 4. To encourage participation in sports with enthusiasm. උද්‍යෝගයෙන් ක්‍රීඩාවට සම්බන්ධ කරගන්නටත් එදිරිමත් කරන්නටත් we need rules, regulation, and ethics. Think about the situation of Indian cricket team now. Then Indian cricket team එක තත්ත්වය මොකද කියන්නකෝ. හරි? All the people know that they do match fixing කරනවා. They sometimes they do cheating. Some actually they don't follow any ethics පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් හොඳම එක හරි. දැන් ක්‍රිස් ගේල් එක පාරක් in a match today, you have to run in between wickets. Wickets වල දුවන්න බෑ. මෙන්න මේ දැන් මේ line එක ගාවින් මෙයා බෝල් කරනකොට මෙයා මෙතන ඉන්න player මේ පැනලා හිටියා, right? He was exceeded that line. මෙතන bat එක දිහා හිටියේ නැහැ. මේක එළිය තමයි හිටියේ. මෙයා පැනලා හිටියේ. ක්‍රිස් ගේල් ළඟට ඇවිල්ලා මෙහෙම පෙන්නනවා කඩන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. stump කරලා hack කියලා. But he didn't done that. හැබැයි ඒක කරේ නැහැ. But think about the Indian cricket team. Indian cricket team ගත්තාම they by chance they will do such kind of unfair things, right? ඉතින් නොබලපෙන ඒ වගේ දේවල් ඉතින් කරනවා. ඒ ethical නැහැ කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරි? You can have a wicket also. Wicket එකකුත් ලැබෙනවා. But not ethical. ඉතින් ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැ නේද? Unfair things, right? ඉතින් අන්න එකයි cricket team ගත්තාම ඉන්දියා team එකට එහෙම වෙලා තියෙන එකයි, right? And you know that most cricket teams like Australian team, England team, sometimes don't do handshaking with some personals in the director board, right? In the board, right? Board of cricket. A cricket board එකේ සමහරුන්ට අතරත දේවල් දෙන්නේ නැහැ. handshake එකක් කරන්නේ නැහැ. What the reason? Children, cricket is a game of gentlemen. මහත්මවරුන්ගේ ක්‍රීඩාවක්. ඒක පහත්ම කරා cheap game එකක් බඩපත් කරේ කවුද? India. That's why. තේරුණානේ? handshake කරන්නෙත් නැහැ සමහරුන්ට. ඒ තරම් අප්‍රියයි. Then next one. To encourage participation in sports with enthusiasm. Now, උද්‍යෝගයෙන් සම්බන්ධ වෙන්නට there should be rules and regulation. To obtain fair victory at competition. සාධාරණ ජයක් ලබා ගැනීමට අන්න. මොකද ඕනේ? මෙන්න මේ ඉදිරියදී ඕනේ. For fair play. සාධාරණ තරගයකට there should be rules and regulations and ethics, right? Number 7, to maintain the dignity of the sport. ක්‍රීඩාවේ අභිමානය තියාගෙන යන්නත් මේක ඕනේ. To minimize disputes. ගැටුම් ආරාල අවම කරන්නටත් there should be rules and regulations and ethics. To develop good personal values. යහපත් පුද්ගල ගුණාංග වර්ධනය කරන්නත් there should be rules, regulations, and ethics. Clear? ඒවා තියෙන්න ඕන වෙනවා, right? Okay, the question is this one. Okay, කොහොමද ලියාගමු? Why are rules, regulation, ethics required in sports? At least write 5 out of them. ඉතින් පහක් ලියාගන්න බලන්න. At least write 5 points out of them. Practicing just now. Definitely there will be a question. අනිවාර්යෙන් ප්‍රශ්න කරන මේක පාඩම් කරගන්න. Children, if it's all, please inform me. Then we can do the next part. You can have another minute, but do it quickly. Right, time is enough. Then children, next part. Okay, then there's a figure of victory here. Diagramic avastha kyodilane. Okay, if every individual in the society is law abiding, the entire society will be law abiding. Children, you have to do it individually, right? All the people should follow rules and ethics and the regulations society. Right? Thereby, we can expect the law abiding society, right? Right? You can contribute to building such society. So you have to individually, you have to develop these kinds of things and you have to follow these things, right? Let us consider how adherent to rules, regulations, and ethics in sports are important to you, your family, your school, and society. You know that not only you, all the if you follow rules, regulation, and ethics in sports, it will be very beneficial for your family, for you, for your family, for your school, and for the society that you are living in, right? Or any right, next part. The benefits that you and your family will get by adhering to rules, regulations, and ethics in sports. This is regarding you and your family. The benefits get by you and your family by adhering to rules, regulations, and ethics in sport. දැන් ක්‍රීඩාවේ නීති රීති ආචාර වලට කරු කරපුවාම යනකොට වුණාම ඔයාටයි වාගේ පවුලටයි ලැබෙන වාසි. Number 1. To be a law abiding citizen. It is given in common. ඉතින් මේ දෙකම පොදුවේ තමයි දීලා තියෙන්නේ. Right. By reading them, you can have you can understand about this one. Okay. අපි කියවගෙන යමු කියලා තේරෙනවා. The benefits that you and your family gets by adhering to rules and regulation and ethics. To be a law abiding citizen, නීති කටයුතු පුද්ගලයෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. Second one, to develop your personality. පෞරුෂත්වය වර්ධනය කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. To engage in sports without disputes and clashes. To engage in sports without disputes and clashes. ගැටුම් මාරවල් වලින් තොරව මේ ක්‍රීඩා කරගන්නත් මේ දායක වෙනවා. Next one, to ensure fair results and accept victory and defeat. සාධාරණ ප්‍රතිඵලයක් ලබා ගන්න. Right? ජයපරාජය සම්බන්ධයෙන් මාර ගන්නට පුළුවන් වෙනවා. Right? Next one. Avoidance of penalties. Penalties with දඬුවම්, right? Negligence නොසලකා හැරීම. And insults සහ අපහාස වලින් බේරෙන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. Avoidance of penalties, negligence and insult. Inculcation of self-discipline, right? Think about the Sri Lankan cricket team. In the past few years, there was no any discipline, right? The Vinayati Lanka cricket team, they smoke here and there. At night, they walk here and there. At a or at a cigarette. A sport person should maintain the conduct well. Right? And they have to consume the things, they have to maintain their behavior as well. Hasiting all the the things you eat and drink, right? There's a meal plan, right? You have meal plan to right? Think about the cricketers and the other sport personals who are in leading today, who are in leading situations, right? They are sacrificing their cravings and other things for their achievements, right? Right? That means self-discipline. You can earn respect and praise from your parents, teachers, elders, and society. සමාජයෙන්, දෙමව්පියන්ගෙන්, වැඩිහිටියන්ගෙන්, ගුරුවරුන්ගෙන් ඔයාට මොකද වෙන්නේ? You can earn respect. ඔයාට ගෞරවය ලැබෙනවා. And praise. ඔයාට ලොකු වර්ණාවක් එනවානේ. ලොකු වර්ණාවක් ගෞරවයක් එනවා ඉතින්. Right? Then I saw a boy like this. මම දැක්කම මේ 20 ගේ rugby captain නේද? ගොඩක් හොඳ කොල්ලෙක් මම දැක්ක ඉතින් මේ he's somewhat sociable. Sociable boy කෙනෙක් මම දැක්කා. මේ Trinity College එකේ rugby team එකේ captain මේ දවස්වල. ගොඩක් famous වුණා මේ පොඩ්ඩක්. මේ right? A good looking one. මම දැක්කා මේ කියන්නේ he communicate with හොඳට හැමෝම අතර සංවේදනය කරනවා. The small children also love him. They also come to take autographs from him. Again, අස්සන් ගන්න එනවා. හරි ඒ වගේ අර පොඩක් අර he has a good personality. මම පෞරුෂත්වයක් මේ පොල්ලේ. ඉතින් අර ඒ වගේ in schools also we can find out such personalities, right? ඒ වගේ ළමයි බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. Really we can find out such personalities. ඉතින් ආදරෙන් වගේ එහෙම දක්ෂ ළමයි හොඳ personality ළමයි බලා ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා, right? So from your childhood today you have to develop your personalities by adhering to these types of qualities and rules and regulations, right? Then children, next one. Okay, then you can earn respect and praise from your parents, teachers, elders, and society. Your friends and people in society will like you more. Children, if you are a good sport person, now you are the man, right? Who abide by the rules and regulations and ethics, right? The society will like more. Samaj you are what kemati. Clear? There may be some people like this also. I mean, if you get victories, right? Then you may have a talent. Right? If you get more victories and other things, then sometimes they cultivate some proud feeling of oneself, right? Okay, it should be a humble one. Right? Right? Not boasting, right? Right? So that means it should be self-esteem. The self-esteem you have to understand your talents well, and you have to understand yourself well, and the humble pride, right? That the pride that generate within yourself about your talents and skills, right? Right? Not boasting like this. Right. Then thereby you can earn respect from society. The people will like you more. Okay? The school friends also. The students of the school also. Then children, your friends and people in society will like you more. Can develop good social relationships today. Right? If you violate rules and regulation, if you don't follow ethics, especially ethics, if you don't follow ethics, children, no one will like you. The teachers will blame at you. What by now, by now, directly or indirectly, right? And the friends also, the student of the school also. So try to become a pleasant personality. On the power shatyat, on the okay, next one. Can develop good social relationships, become a sociable individual. Next one. Your family will be proud. 2 years ago, there was an incident like this. During a rugby match in, I think in Goal district, right? That Goal, okay, school goal district against school. during the rugby match, due to a doubtful judgment of umpire, there was a conflict. Right? There was a actually the student of one team tried to start a fight with others, right? And they fight with their coaches also, right? They fight with their umpires also, and they hit them chasing, right? Yeah, after chasing also, they right? I think the Rugby Council of Sri Lanka decided to ban their matches, right? And I think for nearly for 2 years, and the judges avoided of the judges avoid judging their competitions for at least 3 years, I think, right? අවුරුදු 3ක් වගේ නිකන් ජජ් කරන්නෙත් නෑ matches එහෙම ඒගොල්ලෝ. Right? Such kind of decisions are made by them if violations has been occurred during matches, right? තරඟ නීතියේ උල්ලංඝනය කිරීම වුණොත් එහෙම දේවල් ඒගොල්ලෝ කරනවා. Clear? I think you have to avoid such kind of situation, children, by following the above mentioned rules, regulation, and ethics in sport, right? Then, children, overall, finally, you can develop self-esteem regarding the ones, the sport that you are engaged in, right? Then, children, these are the benefits that you and your family will get by adhering to rules, regulations, and ethics in sport, right? So you can write some of them. ඉතින් කියලා ලියා ගන්න නම් ඕනේ, right? Just write like this. අපි කියනවා මෙහෙම ලියා ගමු. Make it like this. Some benefits that you and your family highlight this one. මේක highlight කරගන්න. You and your family will get by adhering to rules, regulations, and ethics in sports. Right. Some benefits that you and your family will get by adhering to rules, regulations, and ethics in sport, right, children? Then at least write 5 out of them. Okay, let's write them. See you later around 9 o'clock. Right. At least write 5 points out of them.
dance,
Okay. Okay, children, I think time is enough for this one. Let's move to the next part, children. Okay. Well, let's look at the other benefits that you can have by adhering to rules, regulation, and ethics in sport. Hey, before that, you can move to this paragraph also. Therefore, you should try to be an individual who follows rules and regulation and ethics in sports. Then you will be accepted in the field of sports and society as a law-abiding and respected person. So if you follow rules and regulation and ethics in sports, you will be accepted in society as a law-abiding and respected person. මේ සමාජයේ ගෞරවාන්විත නීතිගත පුද්ගලයෙක් විදිහට සමාජයේ පිළිගනී කියලා කියනවා. Right? Don't violate rules and regulation. The next one, the benefits that a school enjoys by adhering to rules, regulations, and ethics in sport. The ක්‍රීඩාවේ නීති ආචාර ධර්ම අනුගමනය කරපුවාම පාසලකට ලැබෙන වාසි. It's about the school, right? The benefits gained by a school. පාසලකට ලැබෙන වාසි ටික. Number 1, having well-disciplined and competent sport teams is good for the reputation of a school. That means having well-disciplined, හොඳ විනයගරුක, competent, හොඳ තරඟකාරී නේද? Sport teams is good for the reputation of the school. පාසලේ ප්‍රති අභිමානයට මේක වැදගත් කියලා කියනවා. යෝගී ක්‍රීඩා කණ්ඩායම ඉන්න එක. Number 2, your school will be recognized as a law-abiding and disciplined school. ඉතින් ඔයාගේ පාසලත් මෙන්න මේ නීතිගරුක, විනයගරුක පාසලක් ලෙස පිළිගන්නේ කියලා කියනවා. Your school will become and be recognized as a school with a good organizational ability. හොඳ පුතේ සංවිධානාත්මක හැකියාවක් තියෙන පාසලක් ලෙස ඔයාගේ පාසලකට පිළිගනී කියලා කියනවා. Right? Think about this one. දැන් if you adhere to rules and regulation and ethics in sport, a school can get such kind of benefit. පාසලට මෙච්චර කොච්චර වාසිනම් ලැබෙනවානේ. Personal qualities of student will develop. පුද්ගලයන්ගේ අපි studentගේ පුද්ගල ගුණාංග වර්ධනය අපිට. Think about the younger generation in your school. දැන් ඔයාගේ පාසලේ බාල පරම්පරාව ගත්තාම they are actually setting examples by looking at you. ඔයා දිහා බලාගෙන එයාලා ආදර්ශයන් ගන්න. Right? If you behave well, right, it will definitely affect for their personal qualities, right? If you have good personal qualities, they will also get examples from you, right? ඔයාගෙන් ආදර්ශයන් ගන්නවා ඒගොල්ලෝ. Students will be recognized and respected in society, right? That means students will be recognized. පාසලේ සමාජයේ මිනිස්සු ඒ ළමයින්ව හඳුනා ගන්නවා. And be respected. එතකොට අන්න සමාජයේ ගෞරවයට පාත්‍ර වෙනවා. The school will have amiable students with good team spirit. හොඳ කණ්ඩායම හැඟීමක් තියෙන දක්ෂ ළමයි බී වෙනවා කියලා කියන පාසලකින්. Law-abiding and self-disciplined students can be produced by the school for society. සමාජයට පාසලෙන් නීතිගරුක විනයගරුක සිසුන් බී කරනවා කියලා කියනවා. Next one, clashes and disputes at sport events can be avoided or minimized. Children, if you adhere to rules and regulation and ethics in sport, we can minimize the disputes, the conflicts between the schools, the teams, right? Inter-school cooperation will improve. You know that there are from time to time, there may be some conflicts within school also. So by adhere to rules and regulation and ethics in sport, we can improve, we can develop the inter-school cooperation. පාසල් අතර අන්තර් සහයෝගිතාව වර්ධනය කරන්නත් පුළුවන් වෙනවා. Thereby we can minimize conflicts also, right? So these are the benefits that a school enjoys by getting adhered to rules, regulation, and ethics in sport, right? Children, we have This one also emphasize the word school. School emphasize right? These are the benefits the school gets by getting adhered to rules, regulations, and ethics in sport play. Please write for all of them. With the park and then quickly. Okay, what now? Is it over? Okay, I think time is enough for this one. Time the next part. Right. Other than the ones mentioned above, there are many more benefits as well. If respect for rules and regulation and due observance of ethics can be ensured at individual, family, and school level, the society you belong to will automatically become a law-abiding and disciplined society. Even here only, you have given only few benefits here. The 100 keep and keep and but children, if you respect rules and regulation, and if you if you follow the ethics with your children, automatically your society will become a good place to live, right? Then next one, the benefits derived by the society by adhering to rules, Regulation and ethics පුතාලා. It's a small part පුංචි කොටසක්. ටික දෙන්න. ID by adhering to rules, regulations, and ethics. Picking up the main three වලට ආචාරම් වලට අනුගත වුණාම සමාජය ලැබෙන වාසි. Active, honest, and law-abiding citizens can be produced. ක්‍රියාශීලී, අවංක, නීතිගරුක පුරුෂයෝ බිහි වෙන සමාජයක, right? Clashes and disputes in society can be minimized, children. Children, if the people have good moral values, if people have good values, if they have good qualities, actually the amount of conflict, right? The tendency of conflicts will be minimized. Clear? Then crimes such as robbery, stealing, and corruption will be minimized. Think about the news telecast and all of the news telecasts then there are so many news about this one. News most of the persons who are holding key positions in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka උසස් නිලතල දරන බහුතරයක් ගත්තා. මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? They have talent and the skill. දක්ෂතාවය කුසලතාවය තියෙනවා පුතේ. But they are lack of qualities. හැබැයි ගුණාත්මක කියන්නේ ගුණධර්ම නැහැ මිනිස්සු ගාව. They are lack of values. Clear? Especially we can find out they have been suspected for the crimes. Robberies, stealing, corruption, clear? Why is that? They have so much. Actually, they have talented persons in our country. They are skillful persons and they have wide knowledge on the Manusyu. There are doctors, the lawyers, the businessmen. In each and every field, we can find out such persons. But they lack qualities. That's why they have to suffer in their last part of their life today. They have to spend the latter part of their life in prison or sentenced to death or shot by death, hanged by death, right? Why is that? Due to the bad behavior, right? So simple you without one day you will become a citizen in Sri Lanka, right? You will go in different sections and different streams today, but be a quality man or a quality woman, right? Not a cheap one. Clear? Don't be lack of qualities. Right? Due to the benefits you earn temporarily. Clear? Okay, you have to have good qualities. The next one. Unity, friendship, and cooperation will foster in society, right? Unity, friendship, and cooperation will foster in society. Right? Victory and defeat can be taken in correct spirits. Definitely you have a in sports. I always emphasize that one. I have believed that sports thereby from your childhood you will learn how to bear victory and defeat. How to manage your emotions, right? Especially by doing sports, you can have that ability. Sports form. Clear, children? Then these are the benefits derived by society by adhering to rules, regulations, and ethics in sport, children. Then please write down this one also. At least write 4 out of them. At least write 4 out of them. Right. At least write 4 of them. Actually, there's only a little part to be done, but your duty and responsibility in relation to rules, regulation, and ethics in sport, right? Actually, we're going to discuss that part for the then, right. Then let's talk about that one next day, right? Then children, when you join with the class on next day, definitely you have to bring Sri Lankan maps, right? At least keep 4 Sri Lankan maps with you. Clear? At least keep 4 Sri Lankan maps with you, especially the blank ones. His map, that's better. And yeah, that's all. And before joining in the class, please go to the lessons and come, all right? When the May pardon, take a product right? I the revise thereby you can keep them in mind easily, right? Okay, children. Then I think the lesson is for you to then we can talk about the rest part on next day and finish the lesson. Then thereafter we can move to the new lesson on next day. And the sort part of Patangano after finishing that part, right? Then children, okay. I think we have only 2 lessons left to finish the syllabus, right? Right, children. I think the lesson is clear to you. Then have a nice day and goodbye, all. See you next day. Good night. Goodbye.